Avatar becomes, and specifically Zuko, becomes a story of a conflicted teenager, is this thesis, torn between two identities. One identity, his tyrannical father implants on him through a scarring experience, and the identity he forms through his Earth Kingdom travels and with the help of his uncle. Okay, so we're going to be talking about two identities, right? So let's just dive into the first one. I'm going to show you a clip that's going to tell you how Zuko acts under his first identity, how he acts towards people, and what his motivations are in his first identity. When it goes.
A storm is approaching from the north.
Zuko's the guy is the younger guy. The older guy is Uncle Iroh.
I suggest we alter our course and head southwest.
We know the Avatar is traveling northward, so we will do the same.
Prince Zuko, consider the safety of the crew.
The safety of the crew doesn't matter.
Where's his crew?
Finding the Avatar is far more important than any individual safety.
So Zuko he's hell-bent, laser focused on trying to capture the Avatar. Now why? That's a great question, viewer, because this guy, his crew member, a couple scenes later, asks that same question. Why is he like this? Why is he a jerk and willing to go into a storm just to chase and capture the Avatar, who is the show's protagonist, who we will see today. So this guy's asking why. Then Uncle Iroh comes down and will help explain this to him and to us. His kind of
after Zuko's outburst in the meeting.
In a military meeting, Zuko had an outburst where he objected to a military officer's proposed war plan. It kind of wasn't his place, and this is what happened.
The Fire Lord became very angry with him. He said that Prince Zuko's challenge of the general was an act of complete disrespect. And there was only one way to resolve this.
Agni Kai. A fire duel.
That's right. Zuko looked upon the old general he had insulted and declared that he was not afraid. But Zuko misunderstood. When he turned to face his opponent, he was surprised to see it was not the general. Zuko had spoken out against the general's plan. But by doing so in the Fire Lord's war room, it was the Fire Lord whom he had disrespected. Zuko would have to doom his own father. When Prince Zuko saw that it was his father who had come to duel him, he begged for mercy.
Please, Father, I only had the Fire Nation's best interest at heart. I'm sorry I spoke out of turn.
You will fight for your honor.
I meant you no disrespect. I am your loyal son.
Rise and fight, Prince Zuko.
I won't fight you.
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher. I looked away.
I always thought that Prince Zuko was in a training accident.
It was no accident. After the duel, the Fire Lord said that by refusing to fight, Zuko had shown shameful weakness. As punishment, he was banished and sent to capture the Avatar. Only then could he return with his honor.
So that's why he's so obsessed. Capturing the Avatar is the only chance he has of things returning to normal.
Things will never return to normal.
So, I showed you that long clip so you can get a kind of feel for Zuko as a character and his motivation behind trying to capture the Avatar. Such a traumatic experience, as you saw in his early years, his teenage years, contributes to his unstable sense of self. And when someone has this psychological condition, they're very vulnerable and susceptible to the influence of others. And so Zuko, being easy to influence, his dad essentially implants his identity on him around capturing the Avatar that says, until you capture the Avatar, you will be worth nothing. I'm not going to give you my love. You will be worth nothing. And so, of course, Zuko goes on throughout the first season to chase the Avatar relentlessly, encountering a lot of dangers and even like almost freezing himself to death in the process. But through this, their circumstances change, and he and his uncle become fugitives at some point. So then, Zuko kind of undertakes a little bit of a Bildungsroman, in that he kind of travels the Earth Kingdom, which is the kingdom the Fire Nation, and discovers the effects that war has on other, like the ordinary person. So here he sees an Earth Kingdom villager's scar received from a firebender, and he kind of changes as a person. He befriends this Earth Kingdom family in a village. Then he begins learning from his Uncle Iroh, his infinite, quips of wisdom, constantly. And he and his uncle actually eventually settle down in the Earth Kingdom capital, Ba Sing Se. And so just when you think that Zuko is beginning to forget about his father and forget about this old identity, then the Avatar's air bison just don't think about that. His flying bison shows up, and Zuko instinctively thinks, "Oh, now I need to go capture it. I need to go capture the Avatar now." So he follows the air bison underneath this lake. Also, don't think about that. So he pursues it and then his uncle is awaiting him at the bottom of the lake, confronting him.
What are you doing here?
I was just about to ask you the same thing. What do you plan to do now that you've found the Avatar's bison? Keep it locked in our new apartment? Should I go put on a pot of tea for him?
First, I have to get it out of here.
And then what? You never think these things through. This is exactly what happened when you capture the Avatar.
Watch him experience anxiety here as Iroh pierces through his forest.
And then you had nowhere to go.
I would have figured something out.
No! If his friends hadn't found you, you would have frozen to death.
I know my own destiny, Uncle.
Is it your own destiny? Or is it a destiny someone else has tried to force on you?
His father.
Stop it, Uncle. I have to do this.
I'm begging you, Prince Zuko. It's time for you to look inward and begin asking yourself the big questions. Who are you? And what do you want?
So here we see Zuko submitting to that.
You did the right thing.
Here, he tosses his mask, which he uses to go incognito chasing the Avatar, into the lake, symbolically leaving his old identity behind, sinking dramatically into the lake. So here, and there's we see Zuko, what we think is a huge turning point. Oh, now he's going to be all good. And in a sense, he does. Because in a scene that happens after this, there's this dream sequence where, some scholars say that he is, the significance of this dream is his unconscious accepting this new identity. Okay? This new identity being Zuko, you don't have to be defined. Your whole life doesn't have to revolve around chasing this Avatar and trying to please your father. So his unconscious accepts that. So you gotta grasp that. So that's a huge turning point for him. But then circumstances change again, and he's presented with the choice of his sister Azula comes in the picture as a representative of his father, and she comes into the picture and says, and gives him a choice: come back with me and have father's love and restore your honor, but you also have to in turn betray your uncle and help me kill the Avatar. Let's see the decision he makes. So her offer proves too enticing to turn down. That's the Avatar. hesitant, and then turns on the avatar. Throughout the course of the battle, they fatally hit the avatar. Iroh defends them, and betrayal. So that, kind of reminiscent of Jesus looking at Peter in the garden. Why denying him 3 times? Zuko denies Iroh. What we see here in this last phase of Zuko's development is unconscious guilt. Zuko returns home to the Fire Nation and thinks, oh, everything's going to be just as I always thought it'd be, right? It's going to be great. But what we see is here in these coming scenes is a guilt poking him. Kind of, because he knows, his unconscious knows that he knows what's right now, right? Through his travels, he knows what's right. But as we can see here in this next clip, he begins getting praised by all these people.
3 long years, your
Watch his facial expression that puts him sometimes not exactly excited and thrilled. Sadness and a feeling of dissatisfaction. So everything is not like he thought it'd be. Everything's supposed to be great. He enunciates that concept in this next upcoming clip.
I thought that if my dad accepts me, I'd be happy. I'm back home now. My dad talks to me. He even thinks I'm my hero. Everything should be perfect, right? I should be happy now. But I'm not. I'm angrier than ever, and I don't know why.
There's a simple question you need to answer then. Who are you angry at?
No one. I'm just angry.
Yeah. Who are you angry at, Zuko?
Everyone. I don't know.
Is it Dad?
No.
Your uncle? Me?
No.
Then who? Who are you angry at? Answer the question, Zuko. Talk to us. Come on. Answer the question. Come on, answer it.
I'm angry at myself.
Why?
Because I'm confused. Because I'm not sure I know the difference between right and wrong anymore.
You're pathetic.
Alright, classic Zulu line at the end. What we see here is a conflict between Zuko's 2 past identities. His past one said, oh yeah, portraying I was right, it was the right thing to do with your civic duty. But his unconscious knows, he knows it was wrong. And here, in upcoming episodes, we see him coming to grips with the fact that, okay, yes, I was wrong. What can I do now? How can I redeem myself? How can I redeem myself from this betrayal and turn my back on something I knew, but my new identity that I formed myself told me was wrong? And so here, he concludes that he needs to sever ties. So here we see him symbolically severing ties with the Fire Nation royal family, taking off his armor and his crown, his prince crown. And then eventually, he comes to the conclusion that he needs to, that to redeem himself, he must overthrow his father and help the Avatar overthrow his father, redeeming himself. We'll see him enunciate that in this last clip.
For so long,
Talking with his father. He's basically just spilling his guts out.
all I wanted was for you to love me, to accept me. I thought it was my honor that I wanted, but really, I was just trying to please you.
So he understands his previous self-delusion.
But I've come to an even more important decision. I'm going to join the Avatar, and I'm going to help him defeat you.
Really? Since you're a full-blown traitor now and you want me gone, why wait? I'm powerless. You've got your swords. Why don't you just do it now?
Because I know my own destiny. Taking you down is the Avatar's destiny.
Goodbye.
So we see Zuko enunciate his new identity. He's basically telling his father, I don't need to be defined by what you want me to be defined by, capturing this avatar and pleasing you. I am, so that's kind of what he basically just said it right there. And then we have this final dramatic scene His father retaliates. So Zuko actively returning the lightning, which Ozai himself created similar to the identity he forced upon Zuko, is symbolic of Zuko's rejection, kind of throwing his past identity, or redirecting rather, his past identity back on his father, as well as an effective foreshadowing of how Ozai's actions will result in his own downfall, as he is eventually defeated by Zuko in the Avatar. So, moral of the story is, to sum it up, Zuko formed his own identity by himself, independent of his father. So with the help of his Iroh and by himself, he forms his own identity, right? So moral of the story is what we can take out of this is, it is inevitable that our identities will be shaped by other people. It's important not to let one person dictate your whole life and define you just by their kind of aims. So yeah, there you go. Zuko's development. We just did 3 seasons in 18 minutes. I don't really know how that went. There you go.
Congratulations.